Hi, friends. Diane here. I just want to start today with a comment from one of you that stopped me from doing what I was doing and really got me thinking. After my last episode on freedom and connection, a listener wrote, and I quote, "Very thought-provoking podcast. I think it is challenging to identify with the concept of freedom without it conflicting with the feeling of selfishness." Now, doesn't that make you think? That is very powerful, I think. It sure hits home for me. Because for so many of us, especially those of us who've spent decades caring for others, freedom and selfishness can feel like the same thing. I think that's what was happening for the person who made the comment. Might be. But I'm not really sure that they are the same thing. So today I would like to talk about that tension between freedom and selfishness. So when we talk about maybe why freedom can feel selfish, that might help. Many of us were raised to put others first, to be good daughters, good wives, good mothers. In long marriages or caregiving roles, our identity often becomes tied to meeting someone else's needs. So when we begin to ask, what do I want? What would feel good for me? Maybe we don't know. And maybe asking those questions can trigger those feelings of guilt. Freedom starts to look suspiciously like neglect. So we're free, we think we're free, and we're neglecting something else. We're neglecting our obligations, perhaps. On a personal note, I know I felt this tug myself. Even small acts of freedom, like saying no to an obligation, can stir up that old, am I being selfish? Am I thinking too much of myself? Maybe I should think more about others. So we might need to think about reframing those two words. And instead of selfishness, maybe we need to reframe it to self-honoring. So we might consider things this way. I don't know. Well, let's just think about this. I'm just going to throw this out there. Selfishness says only I matter. But freedom says I matter too. I matter as well. Freedom doesn't have to mean that we stop loving or caring for the people in our lives. It means we include ourselves in that circle of care. Maybe. Think of it this way. We've spent decades pouring out for others. But freedom could be just simply giving ourselves permission to pour a little into our own cup too. When we see freedom as self-honoring instead of selfishness, it might change the whole picture. So what freedom gives back? Freedom isn't just for us. It ripples outward like throwing the pebble into the pond, and there's those outreaching ripples that come from that. When we give ourselves time and space and choice, we don't stop caring for others. We might even show up better with more energy, more joy, more being ourselves, because we're allowing ourselves to really feel what we really feel. For example, taking an afternoon just for myself, maybe a walk, a quiet moment, a cup of tea in my favorite chair, that doesn't rob anyone of anything, I don't think. It actually restores me. And when I return, when I get back to that, get back into the circle, get back into doing what needs to be done, I'm more present. I'm more able to be there better for those that are around me because I've refilled my cup. So in that sense, freedom can fuel connection. So it isn't either or. We get to do it all. So here's some things to think about. Now, I'm just asking the questions. I'm asking the questions of myself as well. And maybe these thoughts might change over time. I don't know. But here's what I'm thinking about right now. Where in my life does freedom feel all tangled up with selfishness? What would it look like if freedom simply meant I matter too? How might giving myself more freedom actually allow me to connect more deeply with other people and with the people directly around me? These aren't easy questions, but I think they're worth considering. They're worth spending some time with, pouring that cup of tea, sitting in the big chair, and thinking about what the answers are for ourselves. So to the listener who shared that comment, I just want to say thank you. You gave us a window into something many of us are struggling with, but we don't always say out loud. Freedom and selfishness aren't the same, I don't think. One diminishes others, the other honors us. And I'd love to know what you think. Do you ever feel that tension? How do you define freedom for yourself without it feeling selfish? Drop those thoughts in the comments. You know the drill. And until next time, remember, you matter too.